Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and another movie review that I was going to review for my birthday month of June. And this one, I would say, is an underrated movie, and I would pretty much say this is my favorite Michael Bay film. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm reviewing a Michael Bay film, but this one I would say is pretty much my favorite. This one is which is also something that a lot of people, if anyone brings up Michael Bay, they say a lot for other films though. Well, especially the Transformer films, but still, I don't think not too many people say a whole bunch of things about this particular one though. And it's from 2005, and this is like the I think it's probably like the it's not the first one, but the first film that Michael Bay directed that is not produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. But then that is The Island. I've said about that, and with this film, I've said about this film before a couple times in reviews that I think this one's my favorite film from Michael Bay, and I per se pretty much is. It's my favorite film from Michael Bay. But of course, with things with Michael Bay is that one of the films that I enjoyed from him, I enjoy The Rock. That's my second favorite film from Michael Bay, The Rock, with Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, and Ed Harris. I love The Rock. Great action film. And then I enjoy Bad Boys 1 and 2. Those are fun films as well, with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Now I'm not so sure about the third film, because, over how many years it's been since the second Bad Boys film is, and the whole thing with everybody talk about Michael Bay and all that. And now that I'm pretty much say I don't want to see a third film now for Bad Boys 3. But still, Bad Boys 1 and 2, The Rock, Pain and Gain from 2013. That's another film I surprisingly I liked, with Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson, Anthony Mackie. That film surprised me because, well, first of all, it had Dwayne Johnson. I thought it was gonna be okay. Dwayne Johnson working with Michael Bay, but really enough, I liked Pain and Gain. So that's another film from Michael Bay I like. Now with the films that with Pearl Harbor and then Armageddon, I'm I just could never get into Armageddon. That's I'll put it that way. I just could never get into Armageddon. The Pearl Harbor, take it or leave it. And of course, with the Transformer films, which he says with this one, with the Last Night, this is he's going to be the last one he's going to direct. But also, what was that? Also, 13 Hours, the film like the one that took place in Benghazi. Mm-hmm. But everyone talks about all the other films, but I don't know, not too many people talk about this film. I think it's an underrated movie, and I think it had a lot more going for it, and had a good cast, and I think Michael Bay, he did a great job with the film, so I will give him huge kudos for this film. And it's his most underrated one, and this is my favorite film from Michael Bay. And it stars Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. I think they both did a great job. And Scarlett Johansson before doing Marvel, and then also in supporting cast you have Djimon Hounsou, who I enjoy as an actor. Like I said, he's from Guardians of the Galaxy. Then he had the role in Fury 7, but he was also in Amistad, Blood Diamond. Of course, he had a minor role in Deep Rising. He's one of the henchmen. I enjoy Djimon Hounsou. He's a good actor. Sean Bean, which knows to play a lot of bad guys in films, but I'm not that huge fan of Sean Bean, but I thought for a villain for this film, I thought he was pretty good. So I'll say that. Michael Clarke Duncan, May he rest in peace. He has a small role in this as well, which he's in the supporting cast here, but really not if he has a small role in the film. Steve Buscemi, who I like. He's also in this as well. And now it was also just weirdly enough though. This is the only film that Michael Bay directed that was a huge box office flop. I mean, how this film flopped. I think they pointed out that the promotion or the advertising for the trailers and all that stuff didn't really pull much of an audience in. So I guess that's like one of the reasons, or if not the main reason that this film flopped, because it was due to poor advertising. But yeah, but it had a budget of 126 million. Worldwide made 162 million, but domestically made about 35 million. So it is considered a huge flop. Especially how much it made domestically. That's with such low numbers. Even with you take a separate how much it made domestically and separately foreign wise, when you combine the total, but separate, when you combine the total, the worldwide, it's still not big enough. So it is considered one of the biggest flops. And this is the only Michael Bay film that was a huge flop. And I don't understand why. Well, if it was due to advertising, okay, but like if people say, "Oh, this is not," it was like unlike what other Michael Bay films, but I don't get it. But I had fun with the film. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the characters of Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. I like the story of the film. Running time, it's an over 2 hour film. I would probably say it could have been a bit shorter though, but still it was decently at the same time. It was really well paced, I would say as well. But and the score by Steve Jablonsky, I really enjoyed the score by Steve Jablonsky, which he helped on a lot of scores for Michael Bay, or where Michael Bay was involved, like Steve Jablonsky, he did the scores to the horror film remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Amityville Horror, or even The Hitcher, because Michael Bay was involved with those. So, but even including the ones that Michael Bay directed as well, like the Transformer films, and I think he even did the one. I think he helped it for the other films like Armageddon, Pain and Gain, all those. But this was a great score by Steve Jablonsky. Just for like the theme of the main part of the main theme of the film. Well, two things about the score for the film. The piece of the score that was playing at the opening of the film, and then at the end during the credits. Now I heard that piece of music that was in the trailer for Jonah Hex. If you remember so about the trailer for Jonah Hex, how the opening in the trailer when he was being branded had to show the Warner Brothers logo and Legendary Pictures logo. You had a little piece of score right there that was in the opening and the ending of this film by Steve Jablonsky. And then you had that was playing at the end of the film when everyone was going outside at the ending of the film. That was also a piece of score was also in the trailer for Avatar, for the opening of Avatar for the trailer. So yeah, they get this because why wouldn't it? Because I say it's a really well done score, and I enjoy the score to this film, especially those pieces of music that by Steve Jablonsky did. He really did a great job with the score, and I enjoy the characters with the story and. It takes place in the future, which is really enough 2019, which is like a couple of years away, which is like 2 years away. But of course, taking place during the time. This is 2005, and of course, setting it like a little bit ways in the future. But yeah, it's in 2019, and you have Lincoln 6 Echo, and you have Jordan 2 Delta. And I like how the way the settings, how the way the settings look, and where they're at, and they've been and them and all these other people. They have been told that during this it's an isolation area where they're at because they've been told that the outside world has been contaminated and basically pretty much dead. And there's also, but there's it's basically a lottery for a chosen few that they get to go to the island. The title, the island, where it's the only part of the world that is not tainted. It still perfectly supports with life and all that. So the chosen few has been like a lot, basically like a lottery, and they get to go to the island. And Ewan McGregor, I thought he did a really great job. How they introduce his characters especially with the score by Steve Jablonsky, like he's on a boat. And then he sees himself drowning by dragged by these other people. And then I like how the way it how he comes out of the dream, how it's like in reverse when it's just him laying in bed, how the way that sequence is made, and he wakes up, and he's wondering how is he getting these visions, these nightmares, or wherever it is, and Sean Bean, who's the guy who's in charge of this whole structure or operation, and Ewan McGregor, he talks to Sean Bean, and he's also questioning that why can I not have bacon, or why is everybody dressed in these clothes, and like those kind of things. And he's also quite talking about his visions as well, and what kind of a boat he was on, and with Scarlett Johansson as Jordan 2 Delta, who is friends with Lincoln. I'll just call him Lincoln because the name's long. But and there's also, you get a good part where they do like their routines, their work, their parts of what they're where they're working, or when they're like exercising. Like they get like I thought it was kind of a cool thing where it's like a type of video game where, but sometimes like an exercise where it's like they have holographic images of themselves fighting each other when they're out there doing the same motions, and their versions of themselves, like kind of like sparring or stuff like that. I like that, and plus you have like a brand. Of course, you see like the brand logo for Xbox, the logo for Xbox, the old logo. Now it's different though, but nowadays, but still the old logo for Xbox. and then Ewan McGregor, he goes like in the back, more like in the back areas, where he talks with Steve Buscemi, he's the guy who works there, but he's the guy who helps work on the behind the scenes type of guy, because he knows what's going on and they can't say anything. But still, I like what he's talking with Ewan McGregor, and he's like giving some of his own liquor, and he's like, hey, you got that stuff? Gives him his own liquor, and then he's questioning where he's like, step into my office, and he sees like pictures of girls, modeling girls. It's like, and he's saying, are those your friends? Sometimes. Where are their clothes? And then he's asking about Merrick, the Sean Bean's character, and then Steve Buscemi's like, what do you mean? The guy, Merrick, who talks like he has a filing cabinet shoved up his ass, and Ewan McGregor kind of makes like a joke because he hasn't heard those type of jokes, so he's like, and he's asking where he lives at, like Sector 5 was supposed to be like another part where other people are. And then one thing leads to another, that he finds a butterfly. A butterfly that came through the vents, and he sees it, because he's amazed by it, because nothing out there outside should be dead, but yet here is a butterfly, and he like keeps it, and it puts it in a bottle to seize it, and then when he falls over the same part where the butterfly is at, where it came out of, he goes into this other part of the place, and this is where he finds out the truth, that where another room is that Michael Clarke Duncan, that he's being operated, and he's still conscious, because he's hearing the people who are operating on him. It's like, I don't need to use this thing to get his liver, and he goes into shock. Well, he gets scared, and he bursts out of the room. You see that he's really scared, and he's running. He's making a run for it, but they use these weapons, hook him into his legs and to drag him, and he's like, I want to go to the island. You promised. I want to live. I don't want to die. Because earlier in the film, when Ewan McGregor was in the elevator with some other people, you see Michael Clarke Duncan. He was one of the guys who was supposed to be going to the island. But now he knows that through that now, Ewan McGregor knows that it's all a lie. There is no island. And also saying I felt bad for Michael Clarke Duncan's character, but it's not really him, because Ewan McGregor and everybody else in this facility are clones. And the whole gist of it is that, when they meet with Steve Buscemi's character, because I'll get into that part, but he gets scared, Ewan McGregor, and he gets Scarlett Johansson, and they run and they escape from the place, because he tells her there is no island. And so they're running, and they get outside, and they're in the in the desert, and they see a rattlesnake, and it's because they don't know, because they've never been outside before, so they don't know what anything is. And it's what is that? I don't know. It looks mean though, and it's alive. Yeah, because they see a rattlesnake. Yeah. And then they go to this bar. That's where Steve Buscemi is at, and he Ewan McGregor bursts into the stall, and of course you get the joke where, because Steve Buscemi has his pants down, and of course a guy comes in and thinking, this is not what it seems. You get that joke, which has not been done a lot of times in films, but still. And they take Scarlett Johansson back to his place, and he lays it all out that you guys are clones, because the whole thing is that all those people in this facility, they're clones of somebody out here in the real world. They're all rich people, and whenever the time was when if you need if they're new rich people, if they need a new heart, liver, or facelift, new skin, they take the parts from them. Because also earlier, when I mentioned that Ewan McGregor, he witnessed a lady who was pregnant, one of the clone ladies was pregnant, gives birth, and when they extract the baby out, they kill the clone woman, and they give the baby to the real woman that was cloned from. So it's so it's like that stuff. If they need a baby like that, they give it to the real one, and then they kill the clone. The same thing was they do with Michael Clarke Duncan's character, because it showed later in the film there's a poster of Michael Clarke Duncan. He's a football player, the real one. And I guess the guy, the real one, needed a new liver, so they extracted out of the clone from this one. That's what they're trying to extract when he got scared and ran off. So, but they showed the liver, so they killed the clone of Michael Clarke Duncan. So that's what they did. Whatever it's the same thing with Get Out. but the whole idea was to take the bitter as they're abducting people and putting whatever they want, like the Stephen Root's character, he wants to transport his brain into David Kaluuya's character because he wants his eyes. It's almost kind of like the same thing like that, but in a different way. Because it's a way of, it's a different way of, because they want to live forever. Like, get out what all those people are doing to those people they were abducting, because they want to extend their life. And then the same thing because they are middle-aged people. But in this one, it's another way if people want to live forever by clones taking their parts out and putting to them because they want to live forever, extend their life. It's like the same. It's like the same thing with Get Out, that type of aspect, but it's done a little bit different. But it all ends the same because they want, like Steve Buscemi says, everyone wants to live forever. It's the new American dream. So it's a same concept of a way of extending life, but in different ways. But yeah, he tells them that they're clones, and he's explaining that what Scarlett Johansson says, about the memories, and Steve Buscemi is like, no, memory imprints, but it's all the same. And also that one thing that the rich people don't know is that the clones, they're not supposed to know that they're conscious or alive. They're supposed to think they're in vegetative state in this jelly sack that you saw, that you see them in these sacks, and how they cut open to let them out and breathe, and all of the clones laying on tables to input the memories. So they want to find out who the real owners are, the real people that were cloned from. So Steve Buscemi helps them out, gives them to the train station to go to L.A. because that's where Ewan McGregor's real person is in L.A. The real name is Tom Lincoln, and Scarlett's character's the real one is named Sarah Jordan. So they get to so Steve Buscemi is helping them out, as Ewan McGregor thanks him for that. But then after that, Steve Buscemi knows one of the people from the place, and he tells him to run, and the guy pulls out a gun and shoots Steve Buscemi. And they run, they get to the train, and as they get off, and then it's when Sean Bean hires Djimon Hounsou as the guy named Laurent. He's not a bounty hunter, but a different type of military operative. So he hired them to get them back. And I like Djimon Hounsou. He's a good actor. And as they get off the train, get a little foot chase, and what was it, the foot? And it is a good foot chase scene, where one part they go to the directory to find out where the real people live. Then when Jordan, two Delta calls for the real person's home, and see the kids, the real Sarah Jordan's kid answers the phone. It's like, "Mommy, is that you?" And also one thing with the real Sarah Jordan is that she was in a coma from a car accident, and she needed all these body parts that need replacing, and that's where we're gonna take it out of the clone one. And then they get arrested by the real police, and Djimon Hounsou's team, like the van. I thought it was good where the SWAT team type of vehicle just bursts through that police car and just breaks it right in half. Good of the vehicle break in half, and then they get more of a foot chase where one they released another where the two leads, they got on this highway where this truck has carrying the train wheels, and I thought it was a good action sequence where all the train wheels are getting they got pushed off. Well, like at first they got shot because of the chains, and they all fall off, and all the crashing all to the vehicles, and how the way all the vehicles are being crashed on the highway. Well done, well edited. It wasn't too much a shaky cam, so I like that. And one piece of metal just splits one car in two. And although I like the action sequence where all the train wheels mess up all the vehicles. I like that. Well shot. So Michael Bay did a good job with that action sequence. And then they get on this this flying vehicle. Kind of looks like a black. It's black. It looks like it's kind of like a flying jet ski type of way. I'm not saying motorcycle because it doesn't look like a motorcycle, but it looks more like a flying jet ski type of thing. And they get on there. They're flying. They crash through a building. They get on top. And now one thing I remember back in when the TV spots was playing on TV. They get on the top of this building. It has like this letter R on it. And back then, when I saw that on the TV spots where the letter R comes down on the helicopter, I'm thinking, is that like a reference to Pokemon? Because Team Rocket's logo is a red R. I thought that was like the logo to Team Rocket, the R falling down. I swear, I thought because the Team Rocket's logo is a red R. That was a red R that was falling down off the building. I was like, I know it wasn't anything Pokemon related. I know that though, but I was like, is it like the headquarters to Team Rocket? I swear that's what I was thought of when I saw the TV spots like to that scene back in 2005. I swear. But I know it's not though. But it seemed kind of funny to me back at the time. But yeah, that would have been real funny. It was like if that was like a hidden Easter egg. It's like, hey, that was the headquarters of Team Rocket. But it's not though. But that would have been pretty funny though. But yeah, they're on the R, and then the R comes down. It falls in the helicopter, and as they fall, but they're unhurt. And then they get to Ewan McGregor's real person, the real Tom Lincoln, in which he has a Scottish accent. And the guy is a douchebag to the clone. Well, first he tells him that his liver starts failing because all this whatever disease he had from lots and lots of sex. Okay, and where the clone Lincoln is like, what's sex? And he's like, and the guy's like, oh, you don't know about? You're a virgin? You mean you're one with her and you're a virgin? Oh, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, but you're in for a treat. Yeah, but the guy is a complete douchebag to the clone though. But because they're together, and then he turns like does like the turncoat on the the clone when the Djimon Hounsou's team gets there, and of course they can't know which one is which with the clone, who's the clone, who isn't, and of course, but Ewan McGregor, he gets the tag, because the tag, to monitor when they were back in the facility, puts it on the real guy, and he's like, oh shit, and then Djimon Hounsou shoots the real one. And then now the clone now assumes his identity, which they had a chance to live out their own lives though. Which after he gets back, of course, they experience the concept of sex, of course, but still, and but they decide to because Lincoln, he finds out that that because all whatever is happening, Sean Bean, he's gonna terminate all the clones that are there. So they're gonna go back to help him. So they devise a plan. Scarlett Johansson, she was gonna go and help the people of the clones, and while Ewan McGregor, he's gonna stop the holographic machine because because basically it's all big, it's one big image to let all the clones think there's nothing out there, but really there is. So he's gonna sabotage the holograph machine. And Djimon Hounsou, he's talking with Sean Bean, and he tells him that they bring up this thing that now him and his brothers were branded because he feels a little bit sorry for the clones because they were branded too with tomorrow them. So he feels a little bit sympathetic for them, saying that we were branded to let them know that we're lesser than human. And then, in which case, he helps Scarlett Johansson, with the clones that they were going to be incinerated. And I think that Djimon Hounsou, he wasn't a complete bad guy. He was just hired to bring him back though. So he wasn't a complete bad guy, and I like that when he turns and helps with Scarlett Johansson. So he says, "Open the door." And with Sean Bean, he fights Lincoln. It's like, well, you could have taken over his life. You truly are unique, Six Echo. And of course, he says, "My name is Lincoln." And they're fighting. Then the whole machine crumbles down, and Ewan McGregor shoots like those hooks that was from earlier into Sean Bean's neck, and they're hanging over, and Sean Bean gets strangled. And then you have that score by Steve Jablonsky playing the theme. Dun, 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 dun. I can't do this. I can never do scores right. The sounds for them, but it was like and all the clones, they run outside, seeing the outside for the first time. And Ewan McGregor is with Scarlett Johansson again, and Djimon Hounsou looks at them, smiles. And it ends with both of them on the boat, like it was in his dream. The boat, the design, because the memories and the visions that Six Echo had was from the memories of the real Lincoln. He inherited his own memories, like that's how he was able to remember the boat and all that other stuff. And so yeah, and I like that with Djimon Hounsou, he's walking away, and he's smiling at them with the score playing, and ends with them together on the boat. And then during the credits, he had that score that was playing at the opening of the film, and like I said, the little piece that was in the opening trailer for Jonah Hex. Yeah. But yeah, I would put this as my favorite Michael Bay film. He did a great job with this film, and it's also his most underrated film as well. And it's the only one that flopped. Was his only big flop that he had. But I enjoy the film. I would say I love the movie. That's how much I love it. I love this movie, especially same thing as I love The Rock, Bad Boys 1 and 2. I just wish Michael Bay would make more movies like this. And there wasn't that too many explosions, like people point out, with Michael Bay. Oh, lots of explosions. There wasn't that many explosions in this film, for what I saw, which is kind of weird. But yeah, and on the back here, which I clearly agree with, by the CNN Online, great story, great action, great film, right there. And on the bottom here, NBC TV, an enormously entertaining thriller. It wasn't much of a thriller. It's more of a sci-fi action, but it's entertaining. Yeah, I'll take that. And yeah, as I say, Michael Bay, he just really did a good job with this film. I enjoy Ewan McGregor. I enjoy Scarlett Johansson. Djimon Hounsou, I like. Sean Bean, for a villain that he did play, I liked him in this film. Steve Buscemi, I liked. Michael Clarke Duncan, may he rest in peace. For the small role he had, I'll still say he's good because I felt bad for the clone that was being dragged away. that he was lied and deceived. I want to go to the island. You promised. I want to live. I don't want to die. I felt bad for that clone. I love the score by Steve Jablonsky. Great directed by Michael Bay, and the screenplay. There's a few people who did the screenplay, and actually, really enough, there's 3 people who helped write the film. Hold on a second here. One of the writers named Roberto Orci, or his last name. First time writing this film, but later after this film, he would write on Mission Impossible 3, Transformers 1 and 2, Watchmen, Cowboys and Aliens, Ender's Game, Now You See Me, the rebooted Star Trek films. But yeah, and also Eagle. Well, he was a producer on Eagle Eye. He didn't write it, but that's one of the writers though. But I don't know who this other writer is. Caspian Treadwell Owen. But the third writer on this film is Alex Kurtzman. He just recently directed a film that came out earlier this month, and that was The Mummy. Yeah, Alex Kurtzman, who I'll write on this film and other things. He directed The Mummy, the new one that came out earlier this month with Tom Cruise. The reason why I'm shaking my head is that I did not like The Mummy. I like Tom Cruise, but the movie was just... That's pretty much what I can say about The Mummy. So the Alex Kurtzman, he was one of the writers in this film, but he directed The Mummy. So yeah, and I would say this is a lot better than The Mummy. Alex Kurtzman he helped write a good script for this film, but he directed another. I think it's the first time he directed. I can't remember though, but directed a shitty film like that. But I'll give Alex Kurtzman credit for this film because he did a good job with the script, along with helping with the other 2 people as well. And yeah, and Michael Bay. A lot of people talk crap about Michael Bay. I can compare as well, but there I have to be fair to Michael Bay because the films like I mentioned I enjoyed from him. Bad Boys 1 and 2, this film, my favorite one from his, The Rock, Pain and Gain. But with these films, he's not the worst. With all these films I mentioned, it's just that I can't say that Michael Bay, he's not the worst director. A lot of people can say that he is, but he's not the worst director. I can pretty much say he's a lot better than M. Night Shyamalan. I could definitely say that. I could definitely say he's a better director than M. Night Shyamalan because all of the films he directed after Signs have not been worth anything. I'll pretty much say a lot. I'll give pretty much all of Michael Bay's films better than anything that M. Night Shyamalan has directed over the past 10 years. Maybe I'm just giving Michael Bay a little bit too much credit, but still, any of Michael Bay's films I will say is better than. I'm talking about any film he directed after Signs. Because the first 3 films, they're good, but after Signs, any film from Michael Bay is better than any of those M. Night Shyamalan films. I even say the Transformer films are better than anything that he's directed. And I'm not big fans of Armageddon or Pearl Harbor either. So, but I can say those. I could take those over Lady in the Water or The Happening or After Earth. Yeah, that's why I gotta admit I have to say that Michael Bay is a much better director than M. Night Shyamalan because he can also direct action films as well, action scenes, especially for the Transformer films. One thing I can say about the Transformer films, they have some good action, and I'll play the score, good scores by Steve Jablonsky for the scores for the Transformer films, and good effects. So yeah, that's me. That's saying a lot because probably I'm giving Michael Bay a little too much credit though, but still, M. Night Shyamalan. He's one of the worst directors now. He only directed 3 good films. That was probably the first 3 he's directed, but after that, no. I'm tired of seeing them. And I have not yet seen Split. But thing is, though, I don't know, a lot of people have said good things about it. But after all the films I've seen from him, like The Visit and After Earth and The Happening and all those other ones, I have no interest in that anytime soon, unless I get a DVD of it. And plus now I know that it takes place in the universe of Unbreakable. And I was like, oh great. Was that that's gonna change the characters for Bruce Willis now? Because I know that Bruce Willis had a cameo appearance at the end of Split as the same character. But yeah, I'm going off topic though. But yeah, The Island. I love this film. Michael Bay's best film. To me, it is. At least to me, it is. And it's very underrated to me. So yeah, like I said, I said all the good things I said about it: cast, score, directing, action, story, writing. So yeah. So if you haven't seen if anyone who has seen any Michael Bay films, or if you have skipped this one, give this a look. I would recommend it. So yeah, that's my review for the underrated / my favorite film for Michael Bay, The Island. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.